Let's try this again. So the Snake Cinema Podcast. I'm your host, Prince Elias. We are now officially on episode 16. I can't believe it's been 16 episodes, but yeah, can't it's great. It's been a great journey so far since I've been podcasting um, and doing these reviews. But yeah, oh, that's funny. That's funny. I think every podcaster who do it live has at least did an intro on mute. Let's see who's in here right now. Ken, early bird, welcome, welcome to another episode. Thank you for tapping in. I know other people are going to tap in soon, um, and there is wind, so I apologize for the wind in my mic. And let's pray. Fingers crossed the internet doesn't go out. Um, that's about to, honestly. But let's see. This episode is brought to you by Mutations. DC Man Bob Wright on some of the best breeders in the game, um, the best feeders in the game, especially with this love and of course get some breaths from snakes. Uh, so again, thank you for sponsoring this channel. Thank you for all your support. Um, I don't 2 weeks before um, Christmas break, and I too at the same Okay, I got kicked off the internet. Sorry, y'all. I'm back on my iPad now instead of my computer. So hopefully, anybody in the chats, I hate that that happened, but I should be back. I should be back. Okay. So, if anybody's still here in the chat, I got knocked off the internet on my computer. So I am on my iPad now, but I think we're good for right now. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I was trying to do the introductions. But like I said before I got kicked off, I have no life updates right now, just trying to survive the last 2 weeks of school before Christmas break. So super excited for the break coming up. But yeah, just hanging in there, hanging in there. The snakes are good. I do have an updated video that will be um, posted later on today. So later on today, you will get a Snake Prince vlogs. So I'm super excited about that. But let's go ahead and get started with the reviews because I don't know how long I have on this internet. um, so let's see. First, we are going to do Beyonce's Renaissance movie, and then we'll do Escaping Twin Flames movie review. So, um, the first review we're going to do yesterday after work and after class, my sister and I went in to the theaters to see Beyonce's Renaissance film. And I will let y'all know right now because it's Beyonce, the movie theaters are charging $25 a ticket a person to see this particular film. Now, I know depending on the city you live in, the city or state you live in, I know for Tennessee, at least in Memphis, our tickets on average are like 12, 13, $14, depending on which theater you go to, whether you go to the bougie or the ones that are like, you know, inner city, lower class. So to see that ticket price of $25 shocked me. I was like, oh, so if two people are going, that's going to be $50 a pop. There's going to be $50 day at the movies. Um, but um, I will say that given the prices of Beyonce concert tickets, to see her concert on the big screen in the big Dolby theaters or um, IMAX and all the surround sounds, I think $25 is a deal. Is a good deal compared to her actual concert tickets. If you actually went to the show, so I did not, even though it shocked me at first, I did not mind paying that $25 because I know my siblings when they went to go see the show in Nashville, they paid way more than that, and so. Um, that was just the first thing that popped in when I went to go see because I never went to a movie theater and saw a movie for $25. Never. I've never done that. And that was the first. So Beyonce's Renaissance is basically what it is. It is the concert of her latest tour that she just been on from her Renaissance album. But it also gave behind the scenes of her preparing for the tour, behind the scenes of her and her team, her crew, um, getting the stage built, rehearsals, and it even showed behind the scenes and never before seen footage of her and her childhood growing up, her starting in the music industry, and even never before seen footage of her and her family, you know, her kids and her husband and stuff like that. So you get to see a wide scope of things. And it doesn't just glorify, you know, the tour life. Beyonce was very honest about how rigorous, how stressful, how crazy the tours can be for artists, especially of her caliber, doing these stadium tours almost every night or every other night. And so It and she also highlighted, she didn't just highlight the good, the fun times. You got to see a lot of goofy, silly sides of Beyonce, with her dancers and her team, and um the crew while they're touring, and see the goofy sides of her with her family. But you also got to see the businesswoman side of her. You got to see her get frustrated. You got to see her, go off and tell the cameraman not today. Like, so I like when artists show you you know, they don't just show you the good times. They show you the stressful, struggling times, and them having to take charge and say, hey, y'all not doing it to the caliber I want y'all to do it. I want it like this, and y'all are not listening to me. So I really did admire that. I want to give a special shout out to multiple people. One, her background dancers, they are amazing. The lead choreographer who helped her intimately put this show together, and the choreographs and the dances, is a plus size black woman. She wasn't no skinny twig. She was a heavy set plus size black woman. Um, and I wrote her name down, and I forgot that paper that I wrote her name down, because I actually took notes, y'all. I took notes while watching this film, um, here or there. But also the cinematographers. She had two cinematographers credit on Wikipedia for this film. It's Dax Blend, and Erie Calkins. Those two, those two, well, I know Erie Calkins is an award-winning, like Oscar award-winning cinematographer. They deserve some credit, because not only the behind-the-scene footage, and you know the cameras on stage. They had a whole camera crew. You saw multiple people on stage with the different camera angles and stuff like that. But they also had like dolly cameras, cameras on like machinery robots. There was this big truck at one point where she was performing Savage and a couple of other songs. They had attached cameras to those. The giant silver horse statue that she sits on, that's in her like promo pictures. They had cameras on that, like camera. They had drones. It was those two cinematographers and their entire team, their entire staff of camera crews. I commend. Hats out to y'all. Y'all deserve all the awards, the Oscars, the Emmys, whatever cinematographers get recognition. Y'all deserve all that, because y'all did the damn thing. Oh, okay, my chat popped back up. Thank y'all. If you were not here early in the beginning of the podcast, or maybe y'all were, my Wi-Fi went out because the winds and stuff, and I had to switch from my laptop to my iPad, and so I lost the chat for a second. So let me go ahead and pause the review for a second. So, Ken, thank you for tapping in. Rock, thank you for tapping in. Bosa, thank you so much for tapping in. Bosa said, I didn't know she made a movie. Yeah, and I'm gonna get into that a little bit. She said that this tour, the Renaissance tour, was 4 years in the making. So she was planning the tour, the concert itself, um, before the album was even released. Like before we even got the album last year, she had already had the tour in place and planned and pre-planned and had everything together, because she wanted this to be real big and grand and fabulous. And so, and yeah, let me pull the notes I had on my phone. I've written some notes down on a notebook paper, but I also had a few notes on my phone, as I was reviewing this movie. Uh, but it's real good. Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all know right now. Spoiler alert! I recommend people go see this. But okay, here's the notes. She has not just one stage. Y'all know when celebrities, rock bands, pop stars, anybody, they go on tour, they have stages built for these tours. Well, she toured in arenas and she toured in stadiums. Now I forgot which one is which, but one is the ones where you go watch the football games or whatever, and they don't have a roof, and then there are others that have a roof. So she had to get three stages built, um, And by stages, y'all know, I'm pretty sure y'all seen pictures and videos on TikTok and stuff like that of that fans have posted online. But you see, it to us, it looks like three giant screens, but in reality, those three giant screens are made up of hundreds of screen panels that the the crew have to lift up and put in like a puzzle, like a Lego puzzle together. So what we see this big giant. You would think it's like a big old giant um, TV screen when in reality it's like multiple screens all meshed together. And what I admire is that most of the crew who helped build the stage were women, women of color. You saw older women, you saw Asian women, you saw black women, and they're helping build these sound stages and putting the screens together. And so anyway, she had three screens built for this tour because some can only fit in arenas and some can only fit in stadiums. Um, and so, um, and so while let's say she's in Nashville, one city, while she's in Nashville performing with one stage, the other two stages are traveling to the other cities that she's going to after. So one could be traveling to Chicago while the other one's traveling to New York. And so I just in other words, Beyonce spent a lot of money on this damn tour. Y'all think I get why the ticket prices are the ticket prices because these are hundreds of people that she has to pay. And these are thousands, probably millions of dollars worth of technology. Like I said, she didn't just have like there are two cinematographers that are credited for this movie, but on tour, she has like 30 cameramen plus the robotic cameras, plus the GoPros, plus the drones. This tour cost a lot of fucking money, and I get why the ticket prices, why the nosebleeds was $200, which means the floor seats was probably $500. Because that ain't all going to Beyonce's pockets. It's going to other people's pockets too. That's going to pay for if her and her husband pay for, um, um, they don't just pay themselves. They gotta pay for the crew. They gotta pay for the buses, the travel, the jet planes, because she's gonna fly in the jet plane while everybody else is on the tour buses going. Or that is money, money, money. That's why a lot of artists are, when you hear music artists of all genres, regardless of the genres, regardless whether it's rock, hip hop, pop, R&B, when you ask yourself why is Guns N' Roses still touring to this day, because that's where they make their money. They don't make money off the streams. They don't make money off the record sales. They might make a little money, a good boost off merchandise. Merchandise is also a big thing where the money comes from, but most of the money comes from the tour. But in order for the tour to be success, they gotta spend the money. If the record labels aren't spending the money, the artists themselves have to spend the money and then pay the record labels back. So it's crazy. Oh shoot, I'm sorry, Rock. I thought you were blue. You know what, Rock? The reason why you're not blue is because the day that I made everybody blue, you slipped in. That's what it was. So let me pause for the cause. We're gonna take a quick commercial break and let me Smurf rock. That's what it was. That day I made everybody moderators. You slipped in on that podcast. So let's see. Okay, there you go. I'm sorry. Don't sue me for the emotional distress. My bad. My bad. Ah, my bad. Okay, you should be blue now, Rock. Refresh your screen. Refresh the chats. Um, ah, emotional distress, your neck, your back. Nah, Rock ain't look. If Rock try to sue me, he ain't getting done. I'm sorry, baby. Let's see. I think Mike Bosa said. I think Michael Jackson set the stage for going all out, no limits to get it right. Facts, facts, Bosa, and we will talk more about that. Um, but okay, so where was I? Okay, so yeah, so that was one of the things that I thought was amazing was that it takes This tour took 3 stages. So while one is in one city, the other two are traveling. Um, most of her crew was mainly women, women of color, black women. When it came to her dancers and her background and her musicians and the background singers, it was mostly women, but it was also, I mean, she had some men too, but she also had a lot of people in the alphabet gang, the LGBTQ community, because this album she made was honoring house music and ballroom dancing and ballroom culture, which was made by, black trans women and black gay um, people. And so the album was a love letter to her gay uncle and ballroom culture. And so this tour, she made sure to highlight and hire people from the community, from that particular community, to be a part of the tour. So I thought that was also a great thing. And also, she, in the documentary, in the movie, because it's part documentary and part the concert, you get to see her perform all the songs in the concert of the tour. So it, for people like me who was too broke to spend $200 for nosebleeds to go see the tour, I got to see it for $25 on the big IMAX screen with surround sound. So I think I won um, on that end. But for people like us to be able to see this concert in the theaters, it was a beautiful, beautiful, inspiring piece of art. And I just commend everybody who was a part of it. And I commend her for, during the documentary, the behind the scenes portions that was in between the songs, she gave a lot of time and space for the people in her crew, like the dancers and the singers. They got to share their stories, and talk about ballroom culture and the black gay culture and house music, the history, some of the pioneers that she had on the album. Um, and so I just thought that was a good thing. And I thought that she really did a good, tasteful way of honoring the legends of ballroom culture and in that scene. And, um, because you could tell the difference between respecting and honoring and pandering. She did not pander at all. This was a great way to honor what inspired the album to begin with. And so so yeah, that was that on that. Oh, also one of her musicians, her trumpet player, during the tour, it ended up being pregnant. And in the entertainment industry, the entertainment industry got a bad rap that when a woman becomes pregnant, regardless of what she does in the entertainment industry, they kind of shun them. They say, "Oh, you fell off. You might get fired, get laid off, whatever." Beyonce kept her on the tour, so you see her during these performances, during these songs, playing the trumpet and dancing while fully, like, almost about to pop. 8 months, 7 months, 6 months pregnant throughout this tour, and I was like, I commend, clap for that trumpet player. Hats off to her, because I can't imagine being on stage performing, because the band, they not just standing still. Most concerts the band will stand still, and play their instrument. No, she was doing dance moves while playing the trumpet while being full term pregnant, almost about to pop. And so I thought that was amazing seeing that on stage. Of course, we got to see a segment where her oldest daughter, Blue Ivy Carter, got to dance with her on a couple of songs. And Beyonce was very honest, saying, when my daughter asked could she perform on stage, I was like, hell no, because Beyonce been in this industry since she was a teenager, since she was a kid, and she was like, I don't think Blue is ready. And rightfully so, because when clips online on TikTok and Instagram went viral of Blue performing the first two shows or whatever, of the tour, I think they were in Europe at the time. Blue Ivy saw people critiquing and not even critiquing, straight up bullying, because I saw it too on Twitter and stuff. People straight up bullying, saying, "Oh, she's trash, she's horrible, she needs to go back to daycare or some other bullshit." Like, people were bullying. Mind you, Blue Ivy is 11 years old. She's an 11-year-old girl dancing on stage and thousands of people, and y'all are on Twitter and TikTok talking trash. Like, y'all have no life. And so Beyonce shared that she was upset about that, and upset that her daughter had to witness and see that. But what happened was, Blue Ivy, instead of being sad and letting that destroy her, Beyonce says she was at practice every day with the background dancers, getting the moves, and she came back stronger. With each show, she got better and better and better. So when you see the actual performance on screen, you can see that child gonna be just like her mama. She gonna be just like, I don't know what she gonna do, but she gonna be just like her mama. She has that showmanship. She has that discipline, and that was very inspiring to see. And she proved everybody, including her mama, wrong, that she could do it. And so that was good. Also, another thing, a lot of people, including people I personally know, were saying that this tour was underwhelming. This wasn't Beyonce's best. And they were all judging off the video clips that they saw online, like from people's cell phones and shit, and saying, "Oh, Beyonce not even dancing the same. She not doing all this." When you see that film, you gonna take back everything you said, because she was doing the dance moves. She was doing everything. She brought out Meg the Stallion for the Savage remix. Her and Meg was twerking, dancing on poles, shit like that. And mind you, Beyonce had a major knee surgery and injury a month before the tour started. So if you thought, "Oh, Beyonce's not dancing the way she normally dances," the woman did this whole tour on an injured knee. And after seeing and hearing that, seeing her going through physical rehab, you see that she still did a lot. She worked that knee. She was still dancing with her high heels on and everything. And I was like, this woman is the fucking best. Like, now mind you, I don't claim to be a part of the Beehive. As a matter of fact, growing up, my sisters have been Beyonce fans and part of the Beehive since we were kids, since Destiny's Child. Um, where me, I was like, she cool, but I don't get the hype. I don't understand, yada yada. Like, I was one of those people, and I didn't start being a Beyonce fan and admire her work until the Homecoming concert from Netflix, where she performed at Coachella. That's when I became a fan. That's when I was like, "Oh, this woman is the shit. Like, she's legit the best, of at least of this generation. She's the best to ever do it." To piggyback what Bosa said about the whole Michael Jackson thing, yes, Michael Jackson did set the stage and set the standard, and you are 100% right. And Michael Jackson is one of her biggest heroes. It was Michael, it was Tina, it was Diana Ross, and it was Janet. And um, and one thing I will say, all those people are legends. Michael is a legend, Janet, Tina Turner, especially when it comes to stage performances. Those people set the bars. But for this generation, Beyonce is that person. She is the MJ of this generation. I don't care what nobody says. She is the Michael Jackson. She is the Tina Turner of this generation. Um, and can't nobody argue that. Can't nobody. When you see this film, and if you look at all her other tours, but her other concerts that she have, like on streaming services and stuff, she gives you the vocals, she gives you the dancing, she gives you the stage performance. This woman paid for 3 stages to be built, 3 different stages. Y'all got to give Beyonce her props, even if y'all don't like her. I get it. Not She's not gonna be for everybody. Her music's not gonna be for everybody. Her songs not gonna be for everybody. I get that, but you cannot say this woman is not the best. You cannot say this woman is not a hard worker. You cannot say this woman is not talented. Her music may not be your cup of tea, but she is talent through and through, and she has the discipline, the drive, the work. This film, this concert, this doc, whatever you want to call it, is the most inspiring piece of artwork that I recommend everybody go see. And this coming from somebody who was not a Beyonce fan growing up. When Destiny's Child was big and in their prime, I was a Kelly Rowland fan. I'm still a Kelly Rowland fan. I think I'm like the only person, if Kelly Rowland drop a song or if she's featured in some random EDM record, because she does a lot of house music and EDM music. Uh, a lot of DJs from Europe will call her to feature on an album and stuff. If I see Kelly Rowland in any credits on Spotify or whatever, I'm clicking quickly. I'm still Kelly Rowland, still my favorite Destiny's Child member. However, Beyonce Beyonce has earned the right to be, she's earned the right to be loved. She's earned the right to be hated. However you feel about Beyonce, you are correct. But she has earned her stripes in this music industry. And she's been in this music industry well over 25, 26 years. Um, and so, like I said, even if you don't even like Beyonce like that, like I know I mess with Rock. I know Rock isn't a Beyonce fan like that, but I feel like Rock, you should at least take your daughters to see this show. Maybe not little girl right now, but when she's older, like a little bit older, like in middle school and stuff, when this movie is like on streaming services, probably Netflix. I don't know where this gonna be end up being after it leaves the theaters. Um, I think this is something that every young girl, especially young black girl, should watch because this is the most inspiring piece of artwork I've ever seen. Um, and I just feel like as much criticism and hate that Beyonce gets, I get why it happens, but at the same time, I just feel like it's unwarranted because y'all let a lot of male artists, whether it's rock and roll, pop, hip hop, whatever, y'all let them give y'all the most subpar, the most basic, the most wackest shows, albums, songs. Y'all still call them legends, but nobody wants to give that legend status to Beyonce, and she has earned it. And this movie proves it. If none of her other works prove it, this movie proves it. I did put in my notes. I did put in my notes that when it comes to acting, Beyonce is trash, but her best acting work is when she's on stage performing her songs. You see her facial expressions, her emotions, her silliness, her goofiness when she's singing her slow ballads and singing like dangerously in love and stuff like that. That's her best acting. Her best acting is on the stage performing on these shows. And even my sister turned around while we was watching the movie. She turned around and said, "Beyonce going for that EGOT," which is the EGOT is what like maybe only 5 or 6 people got. Whoopi Goldberg and Jennifer Hudson and stuff. It's where you win the Grammys, the Emmy, the Oscar, and the Tony Awards. And if Renaissance is nominated for an Oscar, if it's not ever nominated for an Emmy, she could, for best documentary or best movie, she could actually get an EGOT. She could actually get the EGOT. And the way, and I think she deserves it. At least based off Renaissance, I feel like she deserves it. Um, and the music's great, the transitions, the choreography, the sound effects, everything was amazing. The way they edited this film and to transition from the behind the scenes versus the actual concert, this was, and this movie, granted, this movie is about 3 hours long. Our movie started at 4:10. We didn't get out the movie theater until 7. So, and it did not feel that. We were entertained and dancing and moving. Those of us who was in the theater, we were dancing, singing, having a great time from start to finish. And we only got quiet during the documentary behind the scenes portions because we wanted to hear what people were saying. But during the singing, we were jamming. Um, it was a great time in the movie theater, and you did not feel those 3 hours. You did not feel it at all. The time went by just like that. I didn't notice the time until we got out. My mom was like, she called. She was like, "Where y'all at?" And I was like, "We just left the movies." And I looked and I was like, "It's 7 o'clock. We've been here since 4." But yeah, that I have to say, Beyonce's Renaissance is definitely going to be top 5 of my top 10 list. I'm not going to tell y'all where it's stacked because you know, my top 10 list is going to have all genres. As far as films go, it's going to have documentaries, it's going to have the superhero movies, it's going to have the indie films and like the dramas, and it's going to have horror. So I'm not going to tell you where she's ranked on this list of my top 10 of 2023, but she is top 5. That's y'all spoiler for next week's episode. This was a great 10 out of 10. Everybody should go see this in theaters. If you don't want to spend the money and go see it in theaters, whenever it hits the streaming services, I don't know which streaming service won the rights to stream it after the theaters. 9 times out of 10, it's probably Netflix because she has a relationship with Netflix, or it's probably HBO Max. Whoever the big dollars paying to have it, when it does come to streaming, watch it, or VOD, because sometimes these artists will release it online on all platforms, but you have to either rent or pay video on demand. Regardless, whether you go to the theaters or you wait for it to be on streaming, watch Beyonce's Renaissance. This is a 10 out of 10 for me. Let's see what the chats are saying, because I know some people did pop in. Let's see. Bosa says she dancing better than anyone talking this shit. People don't know the pain they go through with the rehearsals and then the actual performance. Facts, Bosa. Facts. Um, I've I've never I've never done video for concerts of this caliber, but I have shot concerts before, like local concerts and like gospel artists who come into the city and things like that. And I will say it's different when you're actually by the stage with a camera watching them perform. I commend any artist, not just Beyonce, even the small indie artists. When you're on that stage performing, especially if you're dancing, you're not just standing still, you're actually dancing and moving and gotta go around with the background singers and the musicians. That shit is a lot of work. And for her to do this tour starting off on an injured knee, and she did this for Europe and US, people can't hate. People can hate. I'm not gonna say people can hate, but a lot of the hate is not warranted because she is the best, especially of this generation. I'm not gonna say she's the greatest of all time because we still had, some of us grew up in the age of Michael Jackson in his prime, Janet in her prime, Tina Turner in her prime, Prince in his prime, so, even the rock bands like the Rolling Stones and Bon Jovi and all that stuff. So I'm not going to say she's the greatest performer of all time, but she is the greatest performer of this generation. And you can argue with your mom on that. What's up, Brittany? Thank you for tapping in. Smay, what's cracking? Thank you for tapping in. What's up, everybody? Yes, and thank you, Bosa, for putting in people's um, information in the chat so people can follow each other. Everybody can follow each other. None of these clowns rapping nowadays are even hip hop. Bring Biggie back. Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. You got a point there. And I do like some rap, but I think the rap I like reminds me of the old school rap, like the Kendrick Lamars and the J. Cole's. Those are the raps I listen to from today's generation. Um, um, you know, People like Drake and things like that. And then any other rap that I like of this generation is usually the backpack rappers. Like, well, when I say backpack rappers, I mean in quotes because um, what is really backpack rappers like Griselda, or Benny the Butcher. I love Benny the Butcher. Rappers like that. Those are the types of cats I listen to. And if they ever come to Memphis and play in any of these local venues that we have, I definitely Killer Mike. I love Killer Mike's rap. His last album, the album he dropped this year, was pretty good. But y'all will hear more about stuff like that in 2 weeks when I do the best of 2023 music list. Uh, but yeah, that is what's up. And so yeah, that was my review of Beyonce's Renaissance film. So please go check it out if you haven't, or you can wait until it's on streaming. But I think everybody should watch this movie, especially if you have a daughter, if you have a young girl, a niece. They need to see, especially the black girls, they need to see that the sky is really the limit. Beyonce's not an anomaly. I mean, she's not. When you think about, she's not an anomaly. There's a lot of young Beyonces out there in the world who just don't know it yet, or they just have not reached their potential yet, or they just haven't discovered their talents yet, or got the right opportunities yet. This film, for me, as a photographer, a cinematographer, a movie buff, a movie and music lover, like I started Snake Cinema Reviews and Snake Music Reviews because I love the art form of music. When I was in college, I was in film school getting a bachelor's degree in film and video productions, but I was also a collegiate member of the Grammy board. So while I'm in college getting my film on, learning how to make movies and shit, I was able to vote as a college student for people who won in the Grammys. So I am really in this shit. Like, I am passionate about this shit. Even though I'm not talented enough to be a performer like the Beyoncé's of the world, um, I still love the art form and I'm passionate about the art form and I love talking about the art form. And this film, Renaissance, really inspired even someone like me as an enjoyer of music, an enjoyer of film, and it just meshed together so perfectly, so seamlessly. And there's a couple of quotes that she put. She said, "My voice is my instrument." Because a lot of people would knock Beyonce and say, "Oh, she's not a songwriter. She has people writing songs for her," or "She's not this, she's not that, she's not a musician." And she said it best: "My voice is my instrument," and it is. Her voice really is her instrument. And she showed like video clips of her practicing her vocal range, and really, she's really good. She is great. If you heard Beyonce sing a cappella, I think because Beyonce is more pop and do like the fast paced songs, and a lot of day nowadays, a lot of her songs she raps. She does like the rap singing part in a lot of her music now. I think people forget that she really is a vocalist. Like, when people would listen to Lady Gaga's like Just Dance or all her famous pop like Bad Romance and stuff, people forget that Lady Gaga is a vocalist. And when you listen to them sing a cappella with no tracks, no auto tune, no, these women got vocals. They got vocals. Are they Whitney? Are they Mariah? No, but they got vocals. They got range. They know how to control that. And that really is a talent in itself. It really is an instrument. And so that shit is just, she's inspiring, y'all. She's inspiring. And I think that, and at the end of the movie, her last quote that she said before her final song, she said, "I hope you feel good. At the end of the day, I hope you feel good, and I hope this inspires you." And and damn it, Beyonce, Giselle, Knowles Carter, you did that. That movie made me feel good and it inspired me. Smay said, "I'm talking like these trap rappers, like how many songs we need about drugs, gun, and killing each other. Well, to be honest, Smay, that has been in existence since the beginning of rap. Since the beginning of rap. Because as much as whether you love it or not, it is a part of our culture. Now, granted, back in the day, rappers did talk about more than just that, but it is what it is. Like, but even if the topics are repetitive, that's one thing I love about other genre music. Because other genre musics, they might not be talking about drugs, guns, and killing each other, but a lot of other genre musics talk about the same subjects over and over and over again. What makes them stand out more is the music good? Is the vocals good? Is the cadence? Is the instrumentals, is the production, overall package, is it sonically to your ears, to your listening ears, sonically, is it good? And I and so because even people like Kendrick Lamar can talk about guns, drugs, and killing each other, but he can do it in a way where it's not glorifying it. He can do it in a way where it's like he's storytelling and talking about one of his homeboys who might have passed away or some shit like that. J. Cole too. They got that talent to where they can flip it or they can make it a metaphor for something totally different. Where you're like, dang, I didn't even think about it like that. Where it's not like, but I get it. You know, you're talking about the trap rappers like the Atlanta, like the Migos and shit like that. I get what you're saying, but it's not just what they're talking about, but also how it all comes together. How is your rapping skills? How, like I said, I can listen to, like, for those who don't know me or this is your first time listening to my podcast, I love house music. I love EDM. I love, dance music, ballroom type music, stuff like that. They talk about the same shit. And oftentimes, especially those DJs up in Europe, if you're listening to the lyrics of the songs that actually have lyrics, they're talking about depressing shit. They talking about depression all the time. They talking about suicide all the time. But it because it's on a dance track, because it's on the boom, 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 and you can, you feel like you're at a rave. You don't get it. But me, I listen sonically. I listen to the vocals. I listen to the instrumentals. I also listen to the lyrics. And a lot of that shit, it'd be some sad, depressing shit if you take the background music away. If you take the beat away and just read the lyrics, you like, damn, what's wrong with these DJs? Are they going through it? But it's all about how you do the overall package. So I get what you're saying, Smay, and I agree. I agree, but I also feel like there are certain rappers that I can listen to those topics. Sex, money, drugs, guns, killing each other. But it's how you present it to me, if that makes sense. How you present that song, how you present those lyrics, how you present those topics. Will it grasp my attention? And nowadays, my biggest beef with rap nowadays, especially this younger generation, is that they're not making full songs. These songs are like you get one verse, one hook, and that's it. It's like 2 minutes. It's the TikTok. We call it the TikTok music era, where you're only making sound bites for TikTok reels. You're not making real songs. I want rappers to go back to giving me full 16 bars, or even if you can't do 16, full 12 bars, give me 12 at least, and give me two verses and a hook, two or three verses, or two verses and a bridge, three verses. I miss the rappers who gave me three full verses. Like if you saw, let's say, Nelly featuring this rapper, you knew you was everybody was gonna give you a full 16 bars, and it was gonna be three verses max. You might even get three verses and a bridge, like a R&B singer pop in and do a bridge. That's what I miss. That's what I miss in hip hop music. But that's why I listen to other genres more than I listen to hip hop, because other genres still give you real songs. Um, Music needs soul, not money and women. True, true. It needs soul, but you can also have soul talking about money and women and money. But yeah, I agree. I agree. It needs soul. It lacks soul. It lacks real songwriting capabilities. It lacks enough time to digest. Like I like everything. Like for example, Jack Harlow. Jack Harlow is one of the young rappers. Jack Harlow is one of the young rappers nowadays that I actually like. This generation of rap that I actually like. But I cannot put him on my top 10 list this year because he is not making complete songs. And he dropped an album. He dropped an album with like 10, 11, 12 songs, but all of them were like 2 minutes tops. One was like 1 minute and 30 seconds. I was like, what the fuck is this? And the songs are good, but it's not enough. It's not enough to digest. If my workout playlist was just hip hop of today's generation, my workout would be 10 minutes long based off my playlists. And so even though I love Jack Harlow and the music that he did drop this year was amazing, because you're not giving me full songs, full rap songs, full complete bodies of work, you're not going on my top 10 of 2023 list. Sorry. You could be an honorable mention, but not happening. Um, and that's my beef with rap nowadays, especially this generation. Exactly. It's that's okay. I'm saying the rappers that get kids doing dumb stuff. Yeah, yeah, that is true. Like I said, the TikTok generation. I can write poetry that rhymes. It has more bars. Facts. Facts. Look, if I could find my poetry book from back in middle school, it has more lyrics and more rhymes than rappers nowadays. Okay, so let's move on. Again, that was Beyonce's Renaissance, the film in theaters now. AMC, but we don't have an AMC in Memphis, so it's in 3 theaters here, called Malco Cinema. But check your local listen. I highly recommend seeing this on the big screen, even if you don't do it in IMAX. We did IMAX, but even if you don't do it in IMAX, just seeing it on the big screen, it was just a great experience, and still a lot cheaper than spending $200 for nosebleed seats at her actual concert. Just saying. You get front and center, full HD, 4K footage. You get her facial expressions in your face, because there are several times where she actually looks in the camera. At one point, she grabs one of the cameras from the cameraman and was singing with the camera in her face, like she took it out their hand. I thought that was amazing, fun, and actually hilarious. Um, you get to see all of that on the big screen. I think that's great. But if you want to wait till it shows up on streaming months from now, you can do that too. But I highly recommend this film. It was amazing. It was a great time and well worth the money. 10 out of 10 for me. Now let's move on to our next review, because I do have another movie I want to review for this episode. And that is, let me find it. Escaping Twin Flames. Twin Flames is a documentary, a docu-series on Netflix, so you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go to the movies to see it. You can just click on your Netflix app, and I'm pretty sure when you open your Netflix app, it's one of the first things they recommended, because it's one of the newer films, and it's been trending a lot on Twitter and stuff. So I would say you should definitely check out this documentary. I love true crime docs. I think true crime is amazing. It's one of my favorite genres of filmmaking. Um, I just love documentaries in general. Whether it's true crime or not, it could just be a regular documentary about a group of people, um, and I'll watch it. But this one is Escaping Twin Flames, and the what it's about a cult. Gotta love these cults. To me personally, I think every religion is a cult. Just some are more crazier than others. But and we'll get more into that. But this documentary is about a cult that's still going on to this day. It has not ended. It is still the owners or the leaders are still going on right now online. So if you look up on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, Twin Flames, you just might find their page. And it's a cult that started off like a pyramid scheme, basically promising people that they will help them find their soulmates, their twin flame, that they're meant to be together, be with, for the wonderful price of $222 a month. Yes, you paying $200. You paying a car note a month for somebody to tell you, hey, that person is your soulmate. You need to go pursue them. Um, and so one of the notes I wrote when watching this documentary was, loneliness is a hell of a drug. Because that's basically what this boils down to. People join cults, they join religions, they join groups, they join any type of pyramid scheme because they just want to be accepted. They just want to be loved. And they're lonely and miserable. And they just want to find their place in the world. They want to find meaning and purpose or that special somebody. So, my biggest takeaway from watching this documentary was that loneliness is a hell of a drug because no way I'm paying any motherfucker online $200 a month to help me find my soulmate. I don't even want to pay $10 a month for these dating apps that's going on. Like, hell no. Like, I'm not paying nobody to help me find my soulmate. If my soulmate ain't here, they just ain't here. I just ain't getting one. Um, but this documentary shows how dangerous these and crazy these people are, and it showed like I guess they had whistleblowers that recorded all of their like Zoom meetings and different video chats and different text messages from the leaders and stuff. So a whistleblower recorded all this shit, put it on a drive, and sent it to the people who made this documentary. And they interviewed, I want to say like 5 or 6 people that escaped the cult, that left the cult, like some as early as 2019, some as recent as 2022. Um, is one of the victims. And basically, these two people were promising people to help them find their twin flames. And what was so crazy and wild about this was that they were telling people this is your soulmate and you need to pursue them by any means necessary. So it was one person who was interviewed for this documentary who actually went to jail because their cult leader told them your ex-boyfriend is your twin flame and you need to pursue him, you need to go after him, you need to tell him that y'all are meant to be together. And she pretty much became a stalker and ended up going to jail for 6 months for stalking him and violating a um a gag order or whatever against her. And when she got out of jail and she got back into the group chat and the Zoom meeting with the cult leaders started to gaslight her and ask her, were you his stalker or did you just not manifest him good enough? Were you not positive enough? Because if you were positive enough, he would have been receptive and he would have been with you instead of calling the police on you. And I just thought this was crazy. And the fact that she stayed in the cult even after that incident. Now, if I went to jail for your dumb ass, if I went to jail because you told me that such and such was my true love and that person called the police on me, I would not go back to that shit. I would not go back to that cult leader and listen to anything that person had to say. But like I said, loneliness is a hell of a drug, y'all. Religion, cults, all that shit is a hell of a drug. But guess what? Christianity, there's some Christian pastors that do the same bullshit to y'all, and y'all believe it. They'll tell. That's why we got some of these church. I work now. Granted, I work for a church, but I only work for them because I like making money. I don't give a damn about their religion. But there is this church where these teenagers, they're pretty much matchmaking their teenage kids at 16, 17, and then as soon as they turn 18, they're getting married. Like the child haven't even gotten a college degree and they already a wife and got 3 kids and now they're going through the Great Depression because they really didn't want to be with the man that y'all told them to be with. But I digress. That's why I say all religions are a cult. It's just some, it's just worse than others. But this documentary is so wild and so crazy. And by the end of it, when you realize that it's still going on right now, currently, like the leaders are not locked up. The cult is still going on. People are still signing up for Twin Flames Universe or University or whatever the bullshit. I was like, wow. When I got through watching the documentary and I turned off, I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. But like I said, loneliness is a hell of a drug. Desperateness is a hell of a drug. People do the craziest and stupidest things. They waste money, they waste time, they go to jail because of promises that a cult leader made. And the fact that this cult started off as just a regular pyramid scheme to get money for matchmaking pyramid scheme, and then one day the leader decided, hey, let's turn this into a religion so we can get tax breaks. Like, and there's actual, thank God for the whistleblowers because they actually recorded him on camera saying that shit. So it wasn't like he said, she said. It wasn't like the whistleblower just making shit up. Like you see him on camera on the Zoom calls saying this shit to her, like, hey, we need some tax breaks. We don't want to pay taxes. So let's just turn Twin Flames Universe into a religion, and I'll just tell them that I'm the second coming of Christ, I'm Jesus or whatever. And oh my gosh, I laughed my ass off. I feel bad for the victims, but then again, I don't really feel bad for them because I'm like, there were so many times, like even the people who escaped the cult and they was giving their interviews, there was, as they were telling their stories from the very beginning, they were telling us all the red flags they saw and they just ignored it. Like the girl who went to jail. She told us in the doc before we found out she went to jail for stalking her ex that she didn't believe that her ex was really her twin flame because they were toxic for each other, and that she couldn't understand, but she decided to just give it a try. It was like, bitch, you had so many ample red flags to get out of this shit and you stayed in it. You stayed in it. Like, so a part of me don't feel bad at all, but then a part of me do, because I'm like, well, then again, most of these, like some of these members of this cult got in when they were like 16, 17 years old. So I kind of feel bad because, at that age, you're the dumbest human being ever. 16 and 17-year-olds don't really have agencies for themselves, honestly. They make even me, we've made our dumbest decisions at that age. So I kind of get it. And that's why I kind of feel bad because they got hooked when they were younger. But now that you're older, and even some of the older people in the cult, like some people got in the cult and they were in their 50s. And I'm like, how did you get caught up in this bullshit? How did you not see the bullshit in front of you? Like, but then again, there are people on Facebook trying to sell pyramid schemes all the time, all the fucking time. So I get it. I get it. I totally get it. I understand. Like it is, but it's crazy. Like I said, loneliness is a hell of a drug. It's the biggest drug in the world. It's bigger than any pharmaceutical pill, any weed, any crack. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's wild, y'all. Please, if you got Netflix, go watch this documentary. All I could do was just laugh. All I could do was just laugh. This documentary was wow. It was ridiculous. It was funny at times. Like it's crazy. It is crazy, but it is what it is. It happens. It happens all the time. It happens in Christianity. It happens in Islam. It happens in um Judaism. It happens in Catholics. Oh my gosh, those people are so brainwashed. It's just everything. Whether it's a man, whether it's a religion that's been around for thousands of years or something that just started yesterday. People do stupid and desperate things just to be accepted, just to be loved, just to be a part of some grandiose bullshit that don't mean anything. Smay says, I believe religion is your personal relationship with you and your creator. You just have to figure out what creator is yours. Me personally, I feel like there's only one creator, just a thousand different names, because we have we have so many religion. We have so many cultures, so many backgrounds. We have indigenous people, we have people from Africa, people from Asia, people from all around the world. Everybody has their own version of their own version of the creator. To me, the universe is the creator. Um, there is no big man up above looking down on us. I feel like it's an energy, it's a spirit. But when you got these preachers, these speakers, these I'm the voice of type people, when you got humans involved in anything, you just automatically should know it's some bullshit. When humans are involved and they're telling you, hey, I am this, I am that, I am here to help you, I am here to save you, I am here to be a word, that's the red flag. That's the red flag to me. That's when I'm like, leave me alone. That's why I have no stakes in the church I work for. I don't give them my money. They give me money because I work for them. So I don't give them my money. To me, it's just a job. It's just a job. I don't believe nothing that the pastors are saying. And when I see people listening and falling for the okey doke, I just laugh and go about my business. I just go about my business. When they do the communions and bullshit and they come to me with the bread and juice, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'll just drink my Coke, my Coca-Cola. I'm good. I don't need your body of Christ. I don't need to eat that. Like, no. And I was raised Pentecostal. And to me, as a black person, to me, Christianity has done more damage to my people than anything else. Because they justified the slaveries, they justify so much bullshit that I can't follow any religion or any text or any book that said that slavery was okay in any context. I just can't. I cannot. Granted, some teachings of Jesus Christ was, nice and grand, like do unto others if you have them do unto you. Yeah, that's nice in theory. But and if someone hurts you, turn the other cheek. Yeah, that's nice and beautiful and feel good in theory. But all the other bullshit, like the Old Testament and stuff like that, I'm like, the way they treat women and stuff like that, like, nah, bro, nah. Even as a child, I didn't fall for that shit, but I had to go with what my parents believed in. And but once I turned 18 and they said you can do whatever you want once you turn 18, I said, see ya, I'm out. I left the church so fast. I was like, nah, bro. Not at all. That is not for me because I cannot trust a book that was written by 30 men, 30 different human beings who were flawed themselves. And I cannot follow any religion that was used to justify enslavement of people, genocide of people. I just, mm, I just can't. I just can't. My black spirit won't let me. It won't let me. It won't. Like, nah. And the way religion has fucked up Africa nowadays with apartheid and all these missionary trips. I hate missionary trips. I hate missionaries. Stop going to these countries and indoctrinating the indigenous people to leave what they've known their whole life just to follow what you believe in. I hate that. Oh, that gets under my skin. Please help us donate money so we can send children off on mission trips to save the people of Africa. Like, no, leave Africa the fuck alone. They were doing good until you brought your religion into this bullshit. Like, no. It's all cults. It's all crazy. It's all stupid. And that's why I like watching documentaries like this, because it just reminds me of the bullshit I'd been new growing up as a child. It just reminds me, like, yep, people are crazy. People use spirituality and power and all this other shit to destroy other people's lives just for money, fame, power, because they want to be a god of some sort, a prophet of some sort. But to get off religion and get back onto the documentary, I do recommend this documentary. Out of all the documentaries I watched this year, I would give, as a filmmaking perspective, I would give this a 8.5 out of 10 from a filmmaking perspective. But as far as the topic goes, it made me laugh. It was hilarious. It was a good 10 out of 10. And I feel sorry for anybody who goes into Twin Flame Universe and get indoctrinated by this cult, because there's, like I said, they're still going on today. Have not been stopped. So I feel bad for anybody who suffers in the hands of these two horrible people. Um, but I don't see them any different from Joel Osteen. I don't see them any different from any of these other people. They're all the same to me, just different suits, different hats. But they still stealing y'all money. Oh no, it's good, Smate. I like going off topic a little bit from my reviews. It's all good. It makes the movie review a little bit better when we go off topic a little bit. Let's see. I live in South Carolina. They practice Old Testament. I'm like most of you. I'm like, most of you are African American women, and they talk about slaves and rapes of women, and you want to bow down to that. It just don't make sense. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Smay, for saying what I've been saying my whole life. For saying what I've been saying my whole life. Once, because my parents, when I was growing up, I was not into the whole church thing, religion thing. And my parents was like, well, you have to read the Bible from beginning to end to get the context to get. So I did. I read the Bible from beginning to end. And as I read, I was like, this is some bullshit. Why are we believing this shit? Like, why are we bowing down and praying to this shit? Why are y'all giving y'all hard earned money to this shit? Like, I but you know what? God bless my parents. I hope that what they're looking for in their cults helps them live a better life. I mean, it does. It helps them be good people. So that's that. But I'm not going to say all religions are horrible. They have some good elements to them, but you can be a good person and not be religious. It is possible. Two things can be true at once at the same time. You can not be religious at all and not be associated with any of these cults at all and still be a good human being, a good person. But but yeah, that is my review of that documentary, Escaping Twin Flames. If you have Netflix, go watch it. It is a fun time. It is a great laugh. At least for me, it was. And let me know what true crime documentaries did you watch this year that you enjoy. Comment. Even after this live is off, you can leave a comment below. Um, Let me know what documentaries you liked. I watched a lot of documentaries. Some were boring as hell. It should not have been made, but for the most part, some of the documentaries I watched this year were pretty awesome, pretty entertaining and great. Let's see. We should all see each other as equal. I bleed, you bleed, we breathe, we love. Facts, May. Facts. Facts. But that's why I like this community. We are so, as different as all of us are in this community, we all love and respect each other. And some people in this community might love the cults that I've been talking shit about this year. I mean, this podcast, but to each his own. I don't knock them. I just, feel sorry, but I don't knock them. I don't hate them. As long as you respect me, I respect you. And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But that is it for this review. Actually, that is it for this episode of Snake Cinema Podcast. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Everybody who's in the chats, thank y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of Snake Cinema Podcast. I had fun. I really enjoyed the two movies that I reviewed today. And next Saturday, I already have it in the docket. We're going to do the top 10 TV and movies of 2023. So please come join me next Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Time as we discuss all the movies and TV shows that I watched. I might even give y'all the 5 worst that I've seen, because I've seen some trash this year. I've seen some horrible movies. I've seen some boring TV shows that put me to sleep and I didn't get past the full season. So I might do the top 5 worst, and then we'll do the top 10 best TV shows and movies, and y'all can see where they're ranked. And then the following Saturday, the following week, I think that's the 23rd, we would do the top 10 music of 2023. And it's going to be a great time. So the next 2 episodes of Snake Cinema Podcast will be amazing, fun shows. And if you want to be a special guest and share your favorite list, maybe you saw some stuff you want to talk about, let me know. Hit me in the DMs at Creative Reptiles on Instagram and let me know, hey, I want to be on this episode so I can tell you my top movies of the year or my top music of the year, and I will have you on. I like having special guests on. If not, just come back, join me in the chats, and we will have a good time. Today at 12 noon Central, Lady Tiz from Lady Tiz Exotics will have her podcast live. So please go check that out. And this evening, tonight at 9 p.m. Central Time, we as constrictors, we as will have his podcast, Sophisticated Ignorance, um, live on YouTube. So please check those two podcasts out. Sunday, my brother Rock, he was in the chats earlier. His podcast, Napes and Vapes, will return. So it will be Sunday, I believe 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. He is interviewing Boa DNA. So please go check out that interview on Sunday, DNA. Um, and then Lady T will have her Monday morning show, Two Peas in a Pod with Dre on Monday morning. And then that evening, my family, Celtic Balls, will have podcasting under the influence. And then, of course, Tuesday nights, you have me and my homies, Rock, Candy, Maki, and Don D with Beyond the Scales podcast, where we just shoot the shits, joke, laugh, talk about any and everything. Some about reptiles and some about just us being ignorant and having fun and living life. So please check out all those podcasts that I just mentioned. Um, and I will see y'all next Saturday for another episode of Snake Cinema Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's your boy Prince Elias, and I will see y'all next Saturday morning. Peace.